There is a man sitting in his car outside your apartment right now. Engine running, app open, waiting for a ping. He's been driving for 6 hours straight. By the time he gets home tonight, he will have made less money per hour than someone stacking shelves at a supermarket. And he won't even realize it because the app never shows him the number that actually matters. Rideshare driving is sold as the easiest business on earth. No boss, no interview, no startup capital, just you, your car, and an app that hands you customers on demand. Here's the problem. The number the app shows you and the number you actually keep are two completely different numbers, and almost every driver only ever sees one of them. This is the economics of driving for Uber or Bolt or any app like it.
Let's start with the number that gets people to sign up in the first place: gross income. Drive full-time, 40 hours a week, and in a lot of markets, the app will show you weekly earnings that look genuinely good. Add it up over a year, and platforms have historically advertised driver income figures well into 5 figures, sometimes close to 6. That's the number in the recruitment ad. That's the number your friend mentions when he says, "I made this much last week." But that number is gross revenue, not income. It's what the app paid out before a single expense hits your pocket. And in a business where your car is your only piece of equipment, expenses are not a footnote. They're the whole story. Compare it to a regular job for a second. A cashier's paycheck is what they keep. A driver's app total is what they were paid before their car quietly starts costing them money every single mile they drive. Those two numbers are not the same category of number, and the entire illusion of this business depends on nobody stopping to notice that.
So what's actually eating into that number? 4 things, and none of them send you a notification. Fuel is the obvious one. Hours of driving, much of it idling in traffic or circling for a pickup, burns through a tank fast. This is a direct, immediate cost, and it's the only one most new drivers actually track. Maintenance is the one that sneaks up. Oil changes come faster when you're driving triple the mileage of a normal commuter. Brakes wear down faster with constant stop-and-go city driving. Tires, which are not cheap, wear out on a schedule most private car owners never even approach. None of this bills you weekly. It bills you all at once, a few $100s at a time at the worst possible moment. Insurance goes up too because personal auto insurance typically doesn't cover you while you're driving for hire. You need commercial or rideshare specific coverage, and that costs more than the policy you had before you ever opened the app. And then there's the cost almost nobody thinks about until they try to sell the car: depreciation. Every mile you drive for money is a mile that comes off the resale value of your vehicle. A car that's done 100,000 rideshare miles is worth dramatically less than the same car that's done 20,000 personal miles. And that lost value is a real cost, even though no receipt for it ever lands in your inbox. Put those 4 together, and independent studies looking into this have found that a meaningful chunk of what a driver earns, often somewhere between a quarter and a third of it, gets quietly absorbed by the car itself before the driver ever sees it as spendable cash.
This is where the real number lives, the one the recruitment ad never shows you. Take the driver making that impressive-looking annual number we mentioned earlier. Strip out fuel, maintenance, insurance, and depreciation, and independent estimates have put real take-home pay tens of thousands of dollars lower than the headline figure. In some well-documented cases, closer to a third less than what the platform advertised as average earnings. That's not a rounding error. That's the difference between "this is a great side hustle" and "this barely beats minimum wage" once you actually account for what the car is costing you. And here's the detail that makes it worse. None of those costs pause when demand is slow. Fuel still gets bought, insurance still gets paid, the car still ages whether you got 12 rides today or 2. Just like the daycare owner whose costs don't wait for an empty seat to fill, a driver's expenses don't wait for the app to send more pings.
There's a second hidden cost, and it's not measured in dollars, it's measured in time. Rideshare pay is per trip, not per hour. That sounds like a small distinction until you actually track a driver's full shift, circling a neighborhood waiting for a ping, sitting parked near an airport for 40 minutes hoping for a fare, driving to pick someone up before the meter even starts. None of that unpaid waiting time shows up in the app summary, but it's very much part of the hours that driver spent working that day. Studies tracking this have consistently found that a large share of a driver's actual time on the clock is unpaid waiting and positioning time, not paid driving time. Divide total earnings by hours actually spent, not just hours actually driving with a passenger in the car, and the real hourly rate drops sharply, often down into territory that's uncomfortably close to or below local minimum wage once fuel and wear are factored in. This is also why turnover in this industry is so brutal. Studies have found the overwhelming majority of people who sign up to drive stop within their first year, not because the work is hard to learn, because the real math takes about that long to become impossible to ignore. If the math is this rough, why does anyone still do it? And why do some drivers genuinely come out ahead? 3 conditions change the equation. First, using a car you already own for other reasons. If the vehicle exists in your life regardless, you'd own it anyway for personal use, the marginal cost of driving it for the app is lower than the full cost a from-scratch driver has to absorb, because you're not buying a car specifically for this. Second, driving strategically instead of constantly. Drivers who track surge pricing, work only the highest demand hours, and refuse to drive during dead zones earn dramatically more per hour than drivers who just leave the app open all day hoping something comes through. Third, choosing the right vehicle. A fuel-efficient or electric car changes the fuel and maintenance side of this equation substantially because the 2 biggest recurring costs shrink at the same time. Stack those 3 together. A car you already have, driven only during peak strategic hours, that's cheap to run, and rideshare driving can genuinely work as flexible supplemental income. Strip all 3 away, and you're left with the driver from the opening of this video. Full-time hours, an aging car, and a real hourly wage far lower than the number on the screen ever suggested.
So, is driving for Uber or Bolt a good way to make money? As a full-time, primary income treated like a real job with a car bought specifically for the purpose, it's one of the most quietly punishing businesses in the entire gig economy. High hours, thin real margins, and a hidden cost structure the app is never going to walk you through. As strategic, part-time supplemental income, using a car you already own worked only during the hours the data actually favors you, it can be a genuinely smart way to convert spare time and an idle asset into real cash. The lesson underneath this one is the same lesson from every economics of video on this channel. The headline number is never the real number. Before you believe any income figure, a driving app, a side hustle, a make money from home post, ask the only question that matters. What does this number look like after every hidden cost is subtracted? And how many actual hours did it take to earn it? If nobody can answer that clearly, they don't actually know if the opportunity is good. They just know what it pays before it quietly takes some of that money back. If breakdowns like this are useful to you, subscribe. Every week, I take apart a business or a hustle people assume is simple and show you what the real numbers say once you strip away the marketing. Next week, we're taking apart another one, and this one might change how you think about your own paycheck. I'll see you in the next one.